Oh, a great ride indeed, George McPhee. Check the boxes. Entertaining, competitive, team that Vegas could be proud of? Oh, yes. And here are their top 5 prospects. We see Glass right there. What a talented player. 6th overall pick in 2017, back-to-back 90-plus point seasons in the dub. This franchise, as we know, the most successful opening year ever by a pro sports team. There were certain dates that helped shape their success. We follow the timeline. June 21st, Alex Tuch acquired from the Wild in the expansion draft for a conditional pick. Oh, was he important. Big and fast and dynamic. Nick Suzuki goes 13th, picked originally acquired from CBJ, then swapped first-round picks with Winnipeg. That was June 23rd. Also on the 23rd, Erik Brannstrom goes 15th overall. That pick was acquired in the expansion draft trade with the Islanders. Assets on top of assets. Here's what it adds up to. 12 selections made in the 2017 NHL draft, 5 picks in the first 2 rounds, June 23 and 24 of 2017. We remember that draft vividly, and we also remember what came of it. What a sensational first year, but let's look at what the assets have been stockpiled by George McPhee. They had a great setup to begin with, but they made the most of it.
Yeah, they took advantage of it. And you know, Tony, I want to go back to what George McPhee said in that clip when he talked about we want to be entertaining, we want to be fast. That was their philosophy.
Yes.
That's what they wanted to be. And for any of these teams to have success, you have to have your management group sit in that room and say, okay, who do we want to be? Do we want to be big, tough, mean? Do we want to be fast? Do we want to be exciting? Do we want to be entertaining? We have to decide who we want to be. And I think the Vegas Golden Knights did a really good job of deciding who they wanted to be as a franchise. And they went out and tried to acquire players through the expansion draft or through the amateur draft that would fit into who they wanted to be. Once you identify who you are as a franchise, it's much easier then for you to give marching orders to your scouts about who are the players that fit for us. And when you get into circumstances when you have to decipher, okay, do we want this player or this player? These are the values over here that we appreciate. That's why player A is more our guy than player B. We select him. And it really worked well for them in both the drafts they had to run through because you saw the way they played this year. They played exactly the way they wanted to try to play, which was fast and exciting.
We knew what a Vegas Golden Knight was going to look like. They were going to be wearing an awesome uniform. But that identity that he decided upon, he had that whole year of run-up to think about how to play, looking at the landscape of the NHL, speed. And as you point out, when it comes down to a tie between 2 very talented players, understanding, as we often hear at the draft, are you selecting the best available player or are you picking for team need? That's a common debate.
And you know, the other thing, too, with that, Tony, is that everybody has a different list.
Sure.
We have 31 teams in this league now. They all have a different list. You can be number 5 on one list, and you could end up being at number 45 on another list. And that's the way things play out that way. So, you know, for the Vegas Golden Knights, again, I think they just handled it right from A to Z in terms of identifying who they want to be. And I think successful franchises in the National Hockey League, throughout all of pro sports, and really in the business world as well, businesses that are successful identify what they are trying to accomplish, who they want to be, and it makes it much more easy to be successful and to go on, to set that corporate or team philosophy. And I think Vegas did a good job of that in their first season, and they have a bunch of prospects moving forward that can help them down the road.
And McPhee's peers voted him GM of the Year, well deserved.